Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special edition of This Just In Radio. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. Today, we're broadcasting live from ViVE 2026 in sunny LA. Very excited to be here. It's already been an action-packed 36 hours since I landed. The prominence of this specific show grows every year, and I feel very fortunate to be able to broadcast annually from this event. Rich Scarfo and the entire health team are extremely supportive, and I'm tremendously grateful. I also want to make a special note of thanks to Roberta Mullen and Jake Reed for their support in helping you produce these ViVE broadcasts and recordings each year. They are terrific. This is actually my 12th year broadcasting live from a healthcare industry conference, and they helped make it my best year yet. So grateful for them and certainly my amazing guests. For today, though, I have a fantastic lineup of CEOs, CIOs, care providers, innovators, policy leaders, and visionary. If you miss any of this broadcast, all my shows are from This Just In Radio are posted at Amazon Music, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and the TuneIn platforms. As many of you know, my goal for broadcasting live each year from these key conferences is to create an information medium that shares best practices, strategies, and actionable intelligence from the industry's leading sources and experts. My goal, along with all my guests here, will be to offer tactics and strategies not only to survive, but to thrive as you navigate your hospital, your physician practice, your company, or even your family through all of these changes occurring across healthcare. There is more opportunity than ever before for all of us to thrive, but we must understand how healthcare is evolving, how policy and reimbursement is shifting, and where best practices and innovation can support our efforts. I hope you glean all of that over the next few days. That's at least my goal. Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcasting live from ViVE 2026 in sunny LA. I'm very excited to introduce my next two guests and great friends of the show, Dr. Kamal Jethwani, VP of Digital Ventures for Moffitt Cancer Center and CEO of Acceleron Studio, and Dr. Nainesh Parikh, Vice President and Chief Clinical Expansion and Partnerships Officer with Moffitt Cancer Center. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You guys are great. First of all, I assume we see each other quite a bit through the conference, but you guys had a great conference, great show so far.
Yeah, no, it's been a really good conference. Interesting attendance. I'd say maybe a little bit subdued, but at the same time, the quality, the people here are great.
For sure.
Yeah, same. Agreed.
Yep. So we were talking off air a little bit. Very difficult questions. I know. We're going to have some fun with this. And this is, again, whet the appetite. A lot more to come. We're going to do some really cool shows from Moffitt, from St. Pete, from Sarasota. So we'll have some fun here this coming year. But start off with you, Nainesh. For health systems, what cancer innovations are most likely to transform outcomes and financial sustainability for them over the next 3 to 5 years?
I'll take the second one first. I think the financial sustainability piece, I think there's two pieces. The topic du jour is AI. I think AI actually getting deployed on the front-facing clinical side and in the back offices, I think are very helpful. Just two quick examples. Mm-hmm. I think the opportunity to create an avatar of myself to answer patient questions when I'm not around is incredibly exciting. Haven't seen someone successfully crack that completely, right, but there's a lot of people doing that work already. In addition, deploying AI to do things like prior auth, to identify clinical trials, the standard stuff, but really actually supercharging that, absolutely, I think are great. And then finally, I actually think AI building models and digital footprints to run clinical trials and to run or identify when patients will respond adversely to treatments has the opportunity to actually transform outcomes.
Love that.
Yeah, so since you're specifically asking about cancer centers are typically sort of treating more sick patients, right? More complex cases. In that case, I know, so in addition to whatever Nainesh said, there are new therapies coming. 30 to 40% of the upcoming, drug pipeline in the next 10 years is oncology. Mm-hmm. So we think that there's going to be a lot of precision medicine coming in. That's going to have a huge impact on outcomes, which we're really excited about. You could get to a point where there's literally drugs being made specifically for a specific cancer in a specific patient, yep, and get it down to that level and then never be used again, right? And that's exciting because that's going to help with cures and it's going to help with better quality of life while you're getting cured, right? So that's exciting. I think on the administration side, Nain covered a lot of it. I also think that the way in which we're getting paid and the way we're taking accountability is changing. So we have a lot of movement on the administration side, where they're thinking about value-based care in oncology.
Absolutely.
It hasn't happened successfully before. It's a very difficult paradigm, but they seem pretty interested in it, and I think that could be really interesting in how we align incentives, and I think that would have significant financial outcomes.
Do you see that coming from the feds, or do you see that coming from the private payers, or where's that going to come from?
It always comes from the feds.
Okay.
Yeah, if CMS doesn't set the guidelines, nobody else is following.
I totally agree. I was hoping that would be changed. Something's changing, but no, I agree. All right. So now specifically for physicians and care teams, what innovations are giving clinicians new confidence in treating even the most complex or historically resistant cancers?
So I would say two things, kind of along the lines of what I just was mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ability to make clinic efficiency higher, and I don't mean clinical efficiency, but I mean reduce no-shows, reduce patients asking questions about where their records are. Hey doc, I had a scan across the street. Oh, I don't know how to get that information into our system. Tools that are actually just making the practice of medicine easier will then allow clinicians to really focus on the delivery of the care, meaning what treatment plans we're going to use, rather than focusing on all the ancillary pieces. And rather than saying, who's my person who does scheduling? Who's my person who's going to go find clinical records? Who's my person who's going to make sure that the records are coming back in?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually going to unleash brain power for doing clinical treatments for complex cares. So that's one piece.
Yep.
I would also say that, as Kamal was saying, clinicians being able to use more targeted therapies specific to tumor mutations. So as we can diagnose better, as our pathology gets better, as our cell-free DNA technology gets better, I think we can actually target those therapies, and the pipeline gets compressed because of all of our digital tools that are doing that.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree. I think clinical efficiency, I think they're both really important. I really think that at the end of the day, the way we practice medicine should be changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the other things that you're asking cancer centers, so I'm going to take us a little bit away from that, right? So cancer centers, great. I think that's well on its way in terms of clinical outcomes. When you start thinking about the community, that is where the problem we're seeing is a lag of adoption of innovations, pharma innovations, digital innovations, all of those, right? And we think that if you can close the gap and even improve the quality that is being provided at the communities, which is where 80% of our patients are being treated, if you increase that by 20 to 30%, you're going to have a significantly better impact on mortality. So as we're thinking about this, the one thing I would encourage all of us to think about is how do we not leave the community out,
right?
Because 80% of our patients are there.
Yep. Love that. Fantastic. Now, this is very optimistic, but moving to the specific patient optimistic side. If you're speaking directly to patients, which they do listen to this as well, we're all patients at the end of the day, what developments in cancer innovation would give them the most realistic hope right now?
So since I'm going first,
this is an easy one.
I think this is the hard one.
I'm just kidding.
I've said it before when we talked that I think the exciting part is that patients nowadays are interested in their own kind of therapies.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think really represents the most realistic hope is our ability to have engagement for improved screening. I think, to Kamal's point on the last topic, how we're doing screening, how we're doing prevention really needs to be done at the personalized level, not actually at the population level.
Right.
What do I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean the ability to enter in your hair color, your eye color, your family history, your skin color, your sun exposure, your diet, and to be able to do that in a non-cumbersome way to boil up your own personal risk. And I think we're actually going to get there soon with personalized risk models. I think that is actually going to be way more important, so that all of a sudden people are saying, hey, you know what, in 3 years, kind of like Back to the Future, in 3 years, you better be ready to get prostate cancer. Right. So do everything you can right now to improve your urinary symptoms so that when you get prostate cancer, we already know how to treat it, but you're going to get it.
Yep. How far away are we from that? 2 years, 3 years?
I actually, of all of the things, I'm normally the pessimist here.
Yes, you are.
I think we're less than a year away if we do it right.
Love that. Thank you for that.
So I think, at least in the US, we've always had an amazing infrastructure for innovation. New drugs, new molecules, new treatments. The movements we've had in the last 50 years are incredible when it comes to medical science. What has been lacking so far is the equalization of access, right? And what I think I'm incredibly excited about, and this conference is incredibly excited about, is that we finally have a mechanism to break the cycle of the demand and supply mismatch we've been seeing in healthcare for all this time, right? We don't have enough physicians. We don't have enough oncologists for sure. We're losing 20 to 30% of our oncologists in the next 5 years to retirement, right? We're not training as many as fast. We don't have the supply. We don't have the brick and mortar. We don't have the physician talent to be able to meet the demands of cancer. And no matter how much incredible innovation comes in, that gap was going to kill us. But I think not anymore, because with AI, we're going to solve it. Right? And so what I'm really excited about is finally, we have non-pharmacologic innovation that is going to fix, I think, the demand-supply mismatch so that every patient can get the access to the right treatments that they deserve. And that, I think, will have a much bigger impact than any new drug coming out.
I love it. So I'm going to ask a follow-up question, and a hard one for you both. What's one thing a cancer patient can do, or just a patient that has in the back of their head, so if they have come up with cancer, diagnosed with cancer, they can react? What's one ounce of advice you'd give to them? Start off with Kamal.
Wait, sorry. 1 ounce of advice that we give them for what?
Someone who maybe freshly diagnosed with cancer, or just in the back of their head, if they ever get diagnosed, they have it. They know this. Because you mentioned on my show last time. I think it's something very similar, very optimistic.
Yeah. Okay.
Give you a chance to think.
1 ounce of advice, I'll do 3 things. Okay. One, keep up your screening schedule no matter what, like no matter how lazy you are, no matter whatever, just don't skimp on your screening schedules. We all know what they are.
Yep.
Number 2, if you do have a suspicious cancer, go to the best center you can find that is convenient to you, right? So go to the highest ranked.
Yep.
Number 3, always get a second opinion. There is a 30 to 50% chance that the second opinion is going to change your treatment paradigm, and that could mean the difference between cure or not.
Yep. Survivorship. Love it.
So I think
optimist.
Right. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It starts with advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So construct your team. Treat it like a business. So
there you go.
Get the person who's going to coordinate your appointments. Get the person who's there for the TLC. Get the person who's there to be the bulldog. And then go do the second opinion, the third opinion, the fourth opinion. But construct your team, whether it's family, it's friends, it's people you pay, whatever it is. Get the people there that are going to run your life. Because when you're the one that has the diagnosis, and I can only imagine, luckily I've never had the diagnosis myself, you've got to focus on being well.
Right.
So construct your team and knock it out of the park.
Love that. That's a very hard question. You guys both crushed it. Kamal, Nainesh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcast live from ViVE 2026 in sunny LA. I'm very excited to introduce my next guest, Rich Scarfo, President of Health. Welcome back to the show, my good friend.
Thank you.
And ViVE, I guess. Health and ViVE. So
Health and ViVE.
Awesome. How's the show been? How's the past couple of days? I know it's been crazy. I'm sure busy, very successful here. You're happy?
Yeah. Well, of course, we were met with Northeast blizzard.
Yeah, I know.
And luckily, most people were already here.
Yep.
So we haven't been impacted too much. But the event, yesterday was an amazing day with our partner programming. We had a lot of delegates that came just for that. So that's been really good. So strong kickoff yesterday. Today, the floor opened. We've actually just spent a couple of hours this morning getting testimonials from a lot of our key sponsors. So it seems like we're off to a great start. And, I think what's been a very tough year for the industry, events reflect that in different ways. For us, what we see is people really using the event to come here knowing that they can network with other executives and really use their time wisely. So I think we have fared really well.
I agree. And I was on a call before my filming started here, and he said, how's it going there? And I said, it's phenomenal. I said, so many movers and shakers outside of the storm in the Northeast. I mean, almost everybody from healthcare, all the leadership, they're here. If you want to get something done, you come here, you see them in the hallways. It's also not overly crowded, whereas you are going to see just people randomly walking around. You can get whatever you want to accomplish, you absolutely get done here. The people are here.
They are here. And what we like to say is we're not building the largest event, but we really want it to be one of the most meaningful events.
Absolutely.
And, the idea behind what we do is bringing the right people together and the right companies together, and so they can have the right conversations. So our team focuses very hard on that. And I think, what we're seeing here this week is a lot of companies and organizations that are very challenged with budgets and travel that chose this event to make sure they could come together and see their peers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's new this year?
This year it's not so much what's new, it's what we're seeing more of. So I think, AI is obviously everywhere. It's really transforming every part of healthcare. Each event we see it go in deeper and deeper into different areas. We've seen a much larger cyber approach this year with companies. Interop, ironically, is a bit smaller as it's moving more into AI. So it's, we've seen kind of a shift there. We have spent a lot of time with provider systems in getting them here for Market Connect. Again, it's another piece of the event that we've seen growth in a tough year. And the reason we're seeing that is there are no budgets. So we're able to offer a platform for them to come together with companies, and they don't have to pay to be here. So that's been really good. So yeah, I think it's just really, we're seeing AI everywhere, but it's gone beyond, as we saw starting at health, beyond the hype and really into practice. Absolutely. And how it's transforming, really everything that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was in 2 panels this morning, and AI obviously was the topic, and specifically how AI is enhancing patient care, either from a clinical perspective, financial perspective for the health center, bringing additional revenue, capturing appointments that normally would have been skipped. Augmenting doctors' care and nurses' care. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool. We're seeing it in action and not just in theory.
Yeah, we've actually seen more startups at this year's event than last year as well. Which is good because you find a lot of the innovation, a lot of the really interesting stuff that has promise with our startups. So that has been a growth area for us this year. We really try to be an event that's open to all different sized companies. Because it makes it more interesting. So
absolutely. Yeah. So obviously a lot's exciting here, but what are you most excited about for ViVE 2026?
For this year, like I said, we came into really the end of last year with a lot of question marks. Would people travel? A lot of companies made very late decisions. What I'm excited about is really looking at how this event landed. We're still at about 36% C-suite. We have over 600 companies sponsoring, which is up from last year. And we're seeing a lot of success in our Market Connect program. So what I'm excited about is just seeing that, what we started to build 5 years ago. Right. And I said this morning, that, ViVE started as an idea and it's really turned into a community.
Absolutely.
And, you need that stability, that trust, and that product, the event, that is really something that the industry looks to and trusts. So I feel good that we've gotten to a point that with everything going on, we were able to deliver the ViVE that we're delivering this year.
Absolutely. Where is next year's ViVE?
So we are back in Nashville next year.
Okay.
And what we're really looking at for the future, which is important for a lot of reasons, is, we'll go to Nashville next year. We're in the first week of March.
Okay.
But after next year, we're looking at shifting a bit later in the year.
Okay.
And I think that will be important. It gives us a little bit of breathing room from health. It gives, it gets us out of a very crowded first quarter. You leave the holidays and there's a lot going on in the first quarter. Yeah. And it gives companies time to really approach the event in a much more thoughtful way. So we've been working on this for a while. We'll be making some announcements soon, but yeah.
Yeah, I know that's going to be applauded because this is my Super Bowl. My family doesn't really see me there's like an 8-week period just because between ViVE and other conferences and this crazy season, it's literally insane.
Well, the challenge for us has been once you get an event over a certain size, whether it's hotel rooms or the space needed for the exhibit hall, it's much harder to find space. So we've been working for the last couple of months on this, and I think we've got a good run from 28th to 31 that we'll be announcing soon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about Health coming up. I mean, obviously, what are the dates again? Health, Vegas?
And we're November 15 through 18.
Okay, so mid-November.
Yes.
Health, Las Vegas.
A little bit later, which is good.
Very cool.
Good. Yeah. Health is very exciting. So we've got a lot of new things coming up at Health. Again, diagnostics, it continues to be a focus area for us, so that will be growing. We've got AI that we're expanding with some new players stepping in. Age tech will be a big launch for us this year. We have AARP coming on as a strategic partner for our age tech area.
Cool.
We're working on a lot in the pharma space, not just on the floor, but a lot of very bespoke type of programming that we'll be hosting on the floor for all of the different sectors that are interested, plus bringing more pharma executives to the event. We're also unveiling very shortly a whole new area for startups. So for startups, what we have now is, you can exhibit on the floor, you can attend, and you can join the pitch competitions, or you can be an Investor Connect. Mm-hmm. What we're doing is a whole series of boot camps and really resources for them. So it not only helps them prepare for the event, but how to work with the U.S. healthcare system, how to really hone your business approach, how to speak to investors. So a lot of that will be launching. Some of it will be the road to health. So we'll do some things before the event, and a lot of it will take place on site. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're also seeing growth in the payer category at that event as well. So.
Love it. And love to hear AARP. I mean, when I was on Capitol Hill, one of the most powerful partners you can always have was the AARP group.
Yeah, so they'll be doing quite a bit at the event
cool.
this year, including we have a 5,000 square foot pavilion on the floor that'll be all age tech focused that they're headlining. And some new categories that we're working with, and then a lot more pharma companies this year as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very exciting. So a little bit of, not a personal question, but I have not asked you really personally, what can we look forward to health? I think you just alluded a little bit to it or shared a little bit of what's on the horizon, the roadmap, but post-acquisition, what are some of the things we can look forward to over the next 2, 3, 4 years?
Well, the acquisition, first of all, has been very easy. So they don't always go well, as we've seen in some other instances. Yep. So it's been good. One of the things that has been really, and Hive Group is we're under the Hive Group now. What's been really positive about it is their focus is really on maintaining the brand and the integrity of the event, and really looking at how they can help resource the team that we already have, how they can take our ideas and help to build on them and take them into reality. As a small team, it's always challenging, especially when we're running 3 events now globally. So I think what we'll see are more support across the board so we can build our buyer program. We can really have a stronger focus on strategic accounts. We can put a lot more time and thought into how we launch categories and then build new attendees. And, I think the next couple of years, what you'll see with Health ViVE and Health Europe is a lot more of this. And so we can really continue to make them the leading events in the space.
Love it. When is Health Europe again?
Health Europe is in June, and that is also 15th or 17th.
And that's what city this year?
Amsterdam.
Yes. Very cool. Rich Scarfo, thank you so much, my good friend. You're
Thank
always
you.
great.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, man.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap from sunny LA. Want to offer a note of gratitude to all my dedicated partners, certainly AMD and AWS, as they are great partners for the weekly syndicated This Just In Radio show. And certainly many thanks to everyone that voted us 2024 Podcast of the Year. We're grateful for you. And thank you so much to Roberta Mullen from Healthcare Now Radio for producing my show and broadcasting it for the last 12 years. And certainly, as I mentioned, my show partners, AMD and AWS, for all of their continued support. And certainly to Rich Scarfo and the entire health team for this opportunity to broadcast live from ViVE 2026 here in sunny Las Vegas. And again, a big thank you to all my listeners and supporters that voted us Podcast of the Year last year. Please tune in weekdays as the show broadcasts 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn at Justin T. Barnes or track me on Twitter at HAT Advisor and use the hashtag ThisJustinRadio so we can respond to some comments from this show. And you can check all my podcasts and radio shows wherever you find your music on a regular basis. And certainly check out our thought leadership page at justinbarnes.com as we keep that updated with all of our latest thought leadership. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.